Okay, if you're learning English, I bet you've been here, just staring at a sentence, wondering, is it to do or is it doing? Infinitives versus gerunds, it can feel like some random, super frustrating rule. But what if I told you it's not random at all? In this explainer, we are going to crack that code together.
It really is a common grammar puzzle, and it's one of those things that can make you second guess yourself, right? You know the verb is right, but getting the form wrong can make your whole sentence just sound a little bit off. The good news? There's a logic behind it all. There's a key to this puzzle, and we're about to find it.
Let's just jump right in with a classic example. I enjoy to read or I enjoy reading. You can probably feel which one sounds correct, but can you actually explain why? That feeling is exactly what we're going to replace with some real confidence. By the end of this, you'll know precisely why one of these works and the other one, well, just doesn't. So to solve this whole thing, we need to properly introduce our two main players. On one side, we've got the infinitive. You'll always recognize it by the to right in front of the verb, like to go or to see. And on the other side, we have the gerund. That's just the verb's ing form, like going or seeing. These are the only two options we're ever really choosing between. Okay, first up, let's get to know the infinitive a little bit better. A good way to think of it is as the verb in its most basic, fundamental form. It's kind of like the version you'd find if you looked it up in the dictionary. So yeah, simply put, the infinitive is the base form of the verb, and it's usually paired with to. And you know what? It's way more common than you think. In fact, one of the most famous lines in all of English literature, to be or not to be, is built completely around infinitives. It's that fundamental. So when do we actually reach for the infinitive? Well, there are a few key situations. We use it after certain verbs, like want or decide, like we want to learn. We also use it after adjectives, like saying, it's important to be on time. But here's a really powerful rule to remember. We often use infinitives to explain the purpose of an action, the why. And here's that purpose rule in action. I wore a suit to make a good impression. Why did I wear the suit? The infinitive gives us the answer, to make a good impression. It's explaining the motivation, the reason behind the whole thing. See how clean that is? Okay, so that's the infinitive. Now let's switch gears and turn to its equally important counterpart, the gerund. And the gerund, well, it has a very interesting superpower. And here it is. This is its superpower, and it's the absolute key to understanding the gerund. It's the ing form of a verb that acts like a noun. I know it looks like an action, but it's actually doing the job of a person, a place, or a thing. It can be the subject of your sentence or the object. It's pretty cool. So when does the gerund actually show up? Well, for one, it can be the subject of a whole sentence. It also follows its own list of specific verbs, like enjoy, finish, or mind. And here's a fantastic rule of thumb for you. You'll almost always use a gerund after a preposition, like without, after, or of.
This is a perfect example of that superpower in action. Eating outside in the summer makes me feel good. So what's the thing that makes me feel good? It's not a person, it's an activity. Eating. The gerund right there is the subject of the entire sentence. It's a verb, but it's doing the work of a noun.
So we've got these two powerful forms, right? Each with its own set of rules. How in the world do we make the final call? Well, in most cases, the real deciding factor is the verb that comes right before it. Think of that first verb as the boss. It's the one that dictates what comes next. And here it is. This is basically the cheat sheet you need. Notice the verbs on the left that take an infinitive. Decide, hope, plan. These often have to do with future plans or possibilities. We plan to go. Now look at the verbs on the right that take a gerund. Enjoy, finish, stop. These often relate to experiences or things that are happening or have happened. We enjoy reading. Learning these lists is really the core of mastering this whole skill. And just when you think you've got it all figured out, English gives you a little gift. Some verbs, like start, begin, love, and hate, are actually flexible. They can be followed by either form, and there's no major change in meaning. So it started to rain and it started raining are both totally correct. It's a nice little bonus, right? Okay, theory is one thing, but making this knowledge actually stick, well, that requires practice. So are you ready to test out what you've just learned? Let's try a quick little challenge. Here we go. He offered me with my CV. The key here is that verb, offered. Think back to our chart for a second. Does offer take an infinitive or does it take a gerund? Take a second to decide. And the answer is to help.
That's right. The verb offer is always followed by the infinitive. He offered to help me. If you got that one, you are definitely on the right track. All right, one more. Let's circle all the way back to the question from the very beginning. I enjoy food in bed. Remember, the verb here is enjoy. Which form is it going to take? Of course, it's reading. The verb enjoy is always followed by a gerund. I enjoy reading in bed. We enjoy doing something. See, you totally got this. So, let's just lock in the key takeaways. First, infinitives often show our purpose, the why behind what we're doing. Second, gerunds are special because they're verbs that act like nouns. And third, probably the most important rule of all, that verb that comes before the blank is your biggest clue. It really is the key that unlocks the whole puzzle. So there you have it. The puzzle isn't really a puzzle anymore, is it? You have the rules, you have the patterns, and you have the key. The only question left is the one right here on your screen. Now that you have these tools, how will you practice them? Start listening for them in conversations, look for them when you read, and most importantly, don't be afraid to use them. That's how you'll make this knowledge truly your own. Thanks for tuning in.